Hello again. This is another example where we illustrate how our system can be used to create a scenario very quickly. In this case, I am an instructor and have loaded a scenario that deals with a gas leak situation. We are trying to teach our students for this awareness level course how to respond given this situation. So the goal here is really to get the students engaged in the environment. A quick thing to remember here is that for every object we put on this map of the scenario, for every object, there is a corresponding larger scale 3D object that appears in this 3D virtual world, a world that the students will be able to visit, a virtual version of the field, as it were, and they will be able to visit it after a theory class. So we have here a collision between two vehicles, a car and a truck, and the truck is supposed to be carrying chlorine, but the students don't know this yet. They will have to go into the field and try to look at the various symbols and signage on the truck in order to get an understanding of the NFPA symbols. So part of the goals of this class are to teach about the NFPA 704 symbols and to explain what kind of PPEs to wear for various conditions. So in this case, you can see me giving a little instruction and going over to the PPE storage area and picking up a hard hat to wear. This is just an example of how easy it is for students to access and wear the PPEs they will need for the virtual scenario. Let's go back to the board. There are a couple of more things I can show you. I have a gas meter here. This is a virtual simulation of a gas meter. The values would change based on the various gas conditions detected, but we won't use it for this quick demo. My interest is only to show you how quickly it is possible to generate this virtual scenario and to illustrate a particular response approach. You can see here the greenish-yellow gas of chlorine. It is heavier than air and it's floating close to the ground. I've deployed a decontamination line and you can see that I've placed some cylindrical cones as barriers. Soon, we'll see how these very basic items can lead to a wide range of activities, interactions, and questions. Just a little pointer here to explain the wind control instrument that teachers can use. By clicking on the various arms, you can control the direction of the wind and therefore add more unanticipated possibilities to the virtual exercises that the students will have to address. You can just throw a wrench in the students' response efforts by changing conditions and controlling levels of the challenges. You can even change the time of day. Changing the time of day can also require a modified response plan. It is interesting to see how students react to the changes. Let's fly a little bit closer to the source of the emergency situation. We can see the truck, and we can also observe the various NFPA symbols and the various placards in use. Once you get the information they provide, you can open a browser and enter the various codes you found to search for the material the truck is supposed to be carrying. Here you can see more information about the chemical of interest. This is supposed to be chlorine, and here's all the detail you should need. This information will help you develop a proper response plan and help you think about the PPEs you will need for this example. Let's explore the surroundings. I'm trying to get closer to the ground. I'm also using a lot of the camera controls for this demonstration. Students will not need to have camera skills. Instead, they will actually walk into the virtual environment and interact with its various elements. Here I am taking a stab at creating a hot zone, warm zone, and cold zone for this given situation. That's a good activity for students. They will be deploying the right OSHA tapes and be getting a sense of the process that goes into demarcating zones. I am using red tape here to connect these relevant cylindrical cones. All right, so I have my red line now. I'm going to zoom out a little and try to establish my yellow line. It should be at the edge of the warm zone. I'm zooming back and looking for the appropriate cones. Again, I'm using a lot of camera controls, but the students will do this process by walking to cones and clicking on them. But you can get a sense of the various activities that go into the setting up of a decontamination area. I think we have covered all of the main points while working on a compressed timescale. As the students go through the scenario and as they perform the many relevant activities, they will be learning in context and will be more likely to retain more of the concepts they are exposed to. You can see, for example, the large trays on the side of the decontamination tent for collecting equipment that has been contaminated. Let's check out the portable PPE decontamination unit. We try to make the environment as interactive as possible in order to increase immersion. For instance, the water nozzles can be clicked to trigger showers. We can also interact with non-player characters, NPCs, who in this case need to be processed through the decontamination line. And here we have a conveyor belt arrangement to carry individuals who need to be washed. It is obvious that not all situations would require such equipment. We are only exposing students to a range of possibilities that may increase their awareness of a rich set of emergency response tools. Our mission is, simply put, to create situations that will encourage learning and retention. And thank you for your attention.